And we're celebrating 25 years of fearless and impactful journalism. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. In this edition, Electoral Commission dismisses claim by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu that it's received PPEs from the government.
They're just not competent enough, and they must deal with their incompetence and not seek to impugn or attack my integrity that I have taken a long period to build over.
We hear from the Minority Leader as he stands by his claim. Supreme Court Justice nominee Justice Clement Honyenuga defends previous comments perceived to be an endorsement of President Akufo-Addo's second term bid, insisting he read it on behalf of the chiefs and people of Afajato.
I was mandated to read the welcome address on behalf of the chiefs and people of the district. If some people, out of political dissatisfaction, then I'm sorry, just forget about it. That's the end of it.
We have all the drama at the veteran today as a minority accuses chairman of the appointments committee of bias and unethical behavior leading to a brief walkout. An International Monetary Fund says comparing economic data it received from government to what was submitted to parliament amounts to comparing two different things.
What I'm saying is the 4.5 that you see, for example, in 2019, right, does not include financial sector payments and energy sector payments, right? Our number includes these two elements.
Details of that coming up. More business.
And foreign currency deposits increased significantly to hit $4.3 billion ending February this year.
And with the latest talks on whether he should be given a chance in the Black Stars again, we'll hear from Black Stars coach Siki Akono on Kevin Prince Boateng's possible return to the team.
And also, Christian Council of Ghana denies claims it was pushing for the lifting of the ban on social gatherings because the church is suffering financially.
As to when to lift the ban, we leave it with the government. We are only coming in to support if it should be lifted. COVID will still be with us.
I think that God has been good to us so far. Been good. We are paying our bills, we are paying salaries, and so on.
We'll hear from the chairman and some clergymen who spoke to me on Beyond the Lockdown. And later in the bulletin, we are up close with Ghana's best female rapper, Eno Baroni, who is rubbing shoulders with her male counterpart with a wit and lyrical power.
Never went from interview to interview, bragging to the world that I'm the best. And that is how I became the king of praise.
Growing up, I never battled girls. Like, I was always battling boys. And even right now, I still rock the stages with men.
That's all coming up here in tonight's edition of Newsnight. Do join me with your thoughts and comments, please, via WhatsApp. It's 0244 340 437. I am Emefa Apawu. And tonight, the Electoral Commission has a statement they've described as untrue claims by the Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu that the Commission has taken delivery of personal protective equipment from the government, amongst others. At a news conference last week, Mr. Idrisu said the Commission had been giving PPE when healthcare workers did not have enough.
It is absolutely troubling and shocking that in the face of such a pandemic, our government chooses to supply PPEs to officials of the Electoral Commission, as if citizens who will queue and undertake the exercise don't matter. So when you are providing PPEs for Electoral Commission staff, do prepare yourself to provide PPE for the general Ghanaian citizenry. It is only in Ghana that 8 months into an election, it's still doubtful what electoral role will be used for that purpose. I've heard people say that a CI is not ready. There is a CI in force. Until that CI is repealed or revoked, it's good law in Ghana and legitimate law in Ghana. And therefore, if you say that there is no governing law, there is a governing law.
But in a statement issued by the EC's Director of Public Affairs, Acting Director of Public Affairs, Sylvia Ano, the Commission accused the Minority Leader of failing to authenticate his claim. My colleague Ernest Menu joins me in studio with details of that statement. Ernest, let's go through the statements as put out by the Electoral Commission.
So it starts by saying that the Electoral Commission has noted with great concern comments made by the Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu during a press conference held on the 7th of May 2020 that sought to attack the integrity and mandate of the Electoral Commission, as well as the creation of an erroneous impression in the minds of the general public on its attitude as far as COVID-19 is concerned. Honorable Haruna Idrisu is reported to have registered the displeasure of the National Democratic Congress (NDC) on the management of the COVID-19 pandemic by the Commission in the performance of its official duties, as well as its unchanged stance to compile a new voters register with a voter management system. Now, the Commission has not stated anywhere that it has received personal and protective equipment from government as stated by the Minority Leader during the press conference. For the avoidance of doubt, the Commission has not received any protective equipment from government. Now, it goes on to say that the Commission finds it troubling that the Minority Leader and in Parliament will put out such information without substantiating it or authenticating it. The EC would like to state that since the outbreak of COVID-19, it has taken concrete steps in adhering to the rules and regulations regarding the protocols spelled out by the Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health, and therefore has not violated any safety protocol in the discharge of its duties. The Commission takes collective decisions on all electoral processes in conformity with the country's Republican Constitution. It is therefore equally worrying that a statement will be made to suggest otherwise, with the ultimate goal of tarnishing the image of key officials of the Commission. Now, the third paragraph also says that, as stated in Article 46 of the 1992 Constitution, the EC would like to reiterate that it shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority in the performance of its functions, except as provided for in the Constitution or any other law consistent with it.
Okay, so it goes on to also state its position again all along on the compilation of the new voters register. What does it say?
And it says that all stakeholders are hereby reminded that plans are far advanced for the compilation of a new voters register with a new voter management system for the upcoming 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. The Commission is, however, sensitive to the current state of affairs due to the COVID-19 pandemic and will abide by the necessary precautions and safety protocols in the execution of its mandate when it deems it appropriate to begin the compilation of the register. It ends by saying that the general public is being cautioned to disregard any fictitious election timetable and other letters circulating on social media purporting to have emanated from the Commission. The Commission wishes to call on all well-meaning Ghanaians to cooperate with it for the success of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, and it is signed by the Acting Director of Public Affairs, Silviano.
Thank you very much, Ernest Menu. So I've seen publications also alluding to the fact that Dr. Srebo Kweku, who is the Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission of Ghana, on Newsfile, 18th of April 2020, joining Newsfile, he indicated, among other plans of the EC, in line with the Commission's intention to introduce a new voters register for the upcoming December polls. And that's where he mentioned that amongst all the protocols, they've been giving enough PPEs to adequately prepare them for this. So it's an interview that we'll pull up shortly, of course, even subsequently we'll pull up that interview to find out exactly what Dr. Srebo Kweku said on that show that day regarding the provision of PPEs by government for them. But we contacted the Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu following that press conference and of course the EC's denial and response to him. Mr. Haruna, however, says he stands by his claim. He spoke to parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo.
And that I, Haruna Idrisu, am misleading the public and not Dr. Sribua of the Electoral Commission, as was reported by the Daily Graphic and reported by Joy FM on Newsfile that I heard him that the Electoral Commission have received sufficient PPEs, personal protection equipment from government. In any case, I was discussing PPEs relative to the National Identification Authority and the Electoral Commission in the context that don't just think about health, safety, and lives of citizens for the purpose of getting registered. What I do know about the Electoral Commission is that they've come to Parliament with two defective instruments. They're just not competent enough, and they must deal with their incompetence and not seek to impugn or attack my integrity that I have taken a long period to build over. I just don't comment on matters, and I just don't comment on issues. I am quoting, and I quoted today, Dr. Sribwa Kweku.
That's the Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu in that rather brief response to Parliamentary Correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. This is certainly an issue that we are still following up on. The EC, however, is not available to speak further to the statements that they've issued. We're also trying Dr. Sribwa Kweku. We've also tried Madam Sylvia Ano, the Acting Director Public Affairs, following this latest response from the Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, standing by his claim and quoting Dr. Sribwa Kweku on News. That sound will definitely pull up. But let's stay a while longer in Parliament, because Supreme Court Justice nominee Justice Clements Wanyanuga says his comments earlier this year endorsing President Akufo-Addo for a second term was a statement he read on behalf of the chiefs and people of the Afadjato South District, not his personal comment. Justice Wanyanuga today, who is also the paramount chief of the Nyagbo traditional area in the Volta region, said at a Durban in honor of President Akufo-Addo that it is our hope, I quote, that with your vision and the gains made in your first term, Ghanaians may consider giving you another 4 years. The appeals court judge told the appointment committee he only spoke for his people. Here's what transpired earlier.
I don't see anything wrong about that statement. But it's an opportunity for you, because to clarify, you are a judge and a traditional ruler, and based on what you have seen, you are not making politics, but some have seen your statement are quite disturbing. I want you to have this opportunity, if possible, to share with us what you really said, so that we can really buy into it. But I don't see anything wrong with the statement anyway. Thank you.
Very well, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, I am from the Afadjato South District of the Volta region. We were all invited by a letter that we should attend a Durban of Chiefs at our district capital called V. Golukwati. It's called V. Golukwati. And we were to come with our queen mothers and 9 others to the Durban of Chiefs in honor of the president. So we attended the Durban of Chiefs, and as usual, as our culture demanded, and the president and the guest, respectable and honorable person by the president, comes around, he has to be welcomed to our district. And the mantle fell on me, and as I speak, I am the longest serving paramount chief in the district, and if not in the region. In fact, my president is here, my president of the regional association is here. I am the longest serving paramount chief in the district, if not in the region, in the Volta region. So I was mandated to read the welcome address on behalf of the chiefs and people of the district.
so I read it as such, and I even have a copy here that I read that address for and on behalf of the chiefs and people of the region. And it was read as such. It was well received that the graphic that covered the event is represented.
Yes. So, for our record, you were misreported by the Daily Graphic. Is that the case?
That is it.
What graphic published is not representative what you said,
Yes.
including when we compare it to audio recordings of your statement that day. I'm just finding out. Assuming we compare, and my Lord will respect, you thought there's perjury and perjured witnesses. There's an audio recording. There's a graphic recording. You authoritatively, you are telling this committee that those words reported by graphic wasn't yours.
No, that's not what I mean, Mr. Chairman.
Wasn't true reflection.
What I am saying is that the graphic, firstly, did not report that the event took place at the district capital, Golokwati, but instead, it was reported that the president came to my traditional area, which has never been. And again, the graphic did not report that the event took place. And then secondly, the graphic did not report that I spoke for and on behalf of all the chiefs and people of the Afajato South District. It was as if I invited the president to my traditional area and then I made a speech. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by misreporting by the graphic. Yes.
Yeah.
So, excerpts of what transpired earlier, my colleague Joseph Opoku-Gapo joins us on the line. So, it appears, Joseph, that explanation given by Justice Wanyanuga did not go down well with the minority. Let's go through proceedings blow by blow.
So, that's exactly the case. Emefa, let me begin with what's even the latest on that. After the vetting of Justice Wanyanuga and the second justice who's been vetted today, Justice Tanko, the appointment committee sat in closed door and took a decision on whether they should be approved. And the two sides, the majority and the minority, by consensus and by unanimous decision, approved Justice Tanko. But when it came to Justice Wanyanuga, the minority disagreed with approving him. Actually, it went down to a vote at the level of the appointment committee. And from what we gather, the minority MPs, 7 of them on the committee who sat in that meeting, voted against approving Justice Wanyanuga, while the majority, there were about 10 of them, they voted in favor. So the committee's report, which will come to Parliament eventually, will recommend that the House approves him. But this is a decision that was not taken by consensus. The minority MPs voted against it, and the majority used their numbers to actually vote in its favor by 10-7. Now, at the level of the sitting itself earlier in the day, one question that came up was from Samuel Okudeta-Blakwa, who is the MP for North Tong, and he went on to quote the Code of Conduct for Judges and made reference to how portions of it caution against people who are justices, even if they serve in other positions that are not related to their positions as justices, should not do anything that casts doubt on them politically and raises issues about their political leanings, and asks whether this is something that, with the benefit of hindsight, Justice Wanyanuga stands by what he has said earlier. The chairman of the committee, Jose Usu, overruled that particular question, and that prompted the minority MPs to step out of the vetting session for about 5 minutes to go confer on what the way forward should be. I spoke to Muntaka Mubarak, who is the minority chief whip, when they stepped out for that 5-minute conversation, and he claimed that he felt Jose Usu, who is the chairman of the appointment committee, was acting in a biased and an ethical manner.
I mean, we think that was very upset. I mean, he was literally truncating the thing. and he's doing so biasly. And I think everybody watching TV can see it. This is a super legitimate question. Everywhere in the world, we were members of parliament. People send you questions to ask people. But you look at the question, and you think that this question infringes on our rules. You don't ask it. Because if you do, the responsibility rests on you. And you'll be personally held responsible for it. You can't now come and say that, I can't now say that, oh, it was my child who asked me to do this. You'll be looking stupid before everybody. And this is a judge of an appeals court who's been there for over 12 years, who's going to the Supreme Court. I think that even based on that alone, his sense of judgment should need to be questioned.
So
our decisions will continue to go, we'll continue to press other things, but obviously, this matter will not go.
Will you come by a substantive motion challenging the chairman of the committee's decision to object to that?
The challenge we have is that the vetting of this man is going to end in the next 1 hour or 2 hours. By the time you go through all those motions, you'll be losing time. I get it. You lose time. So we think that what the chairman did was very biased. I mean, it is very unethical. Very, very unethical for the chairman to do that.
In the conclusion of the committee.
I can assure you that if the chairman does not withdraw this, it will definitely do.
So you bring back the question. Other members will bring back the question.
You can rest assured, we'll bring back the question.
Are you going to support his approval?
No. We'll bring back the question and see how he answers it. That will then determine what we'll do.
So, Joseph, you got to put the claims of the minority to the chairman of the Appointments Committee, Jose Usu.
Well, he did not take kindly to the allegations of bias against him by Muntaka Mubarak, and he said, as chairman, he needs to take decisions, and he was going to stamp his authority even as he oversaw the vetting process.
Accusations are accusations, aren't they? They can make any accusations. They have been found to make accusations that are baseless, often, many. So they can make many accusations, but nobody can take away from me the right to preside, and to decide which questions are admissible or not admissible.
And for you, that will not affect the fairness of the process and maybe a unitary position in terms of whatever.
What is wrong with taking a unitary position?
Of
we sit here as a committee. We take decisions by consensus or by majority. If people take a decision of what they will do before they come to the chamber, that is their position. They're entitled to that. But they are not entitled to dictate to the rest of us. That has been the practice, and that is the part which often gets to me. We are in the minority, but what we want should prevail.
Justice Onenuga has a mind of his own. He could have responded to the question without even pulling the brakes. Again, that's the.
So, what is the role of a chairman? Doesn't the chairman have the right to decide which questions are admissible? Yes.
Chairman, are you concerned?
Well, so Joseph, that's Jose Usu's interaction with you out there. The then proceedings resumed at some point. You've told us about the minority's decision on his approval, but let's go into what transpired when proceedings resumed.
Going, even as the minority MP stepped out and the MP for Ekwapem South, Obiamwa and others continued with the process.
As a matter of fact.
Later in the vetting process, Al-Hassan Suhini, who is the MP for Tamale North, brought back the question about the comments that Justice Onenuga made, and in the deliberations on that, Justice Onenuga eventually indicated that he was sorry for the comments.
Reading that paper, I did not intend that we were endorsing the president. Our understanding was that we were wishing him well. That was our understanding of it. So, and this thing has been happening all over this country for years, since the colonial time. Even I have a graphic here. The graphic which reported the next page of the graphic. You will see a paramount chief who, in the Western region, when the presidential candidate of the NDC, ex-President Mahama, visited him, it's just on the next page of it. That's right. So this is what has been happening in this country for a very long time.
Thank you, my lord.
And therefore, Mr. Chairman, what do you mean? I want to say that on my part, if some people out of political dissatisfaction of whatever I had read affect them, then I'm sorry. Just forget about it. That's the end of it. Thank you.
Now that's Justice Onyenuga, the Supreme Court nominee. Now there was another nominee who appeared before the committee. So you heard him. He says that if this comment did not go well for some, he's withdrawn it. He's sorry for it. But Joseph, let's talk about the second nominee for today.
Just before that, so the minority MPs are making the argument that the apology or the sorry he said was conditional, and that's not how they were looking for. We're rather interested in a more heartfelt one, which is how come they've still gone ahead to vote against his approval. Justice Tanko responded to a number of questions, including on a ruling he had given some years ago in connection with the Wyoming case, the issue of the 51 million Ghana cedi judgment debt that he got. And he defended that ruling, indicating that he stands by the ruling that he gave. Then he also responded to a question on whether the wearing of hijab is something that some workplaces are banning is actually in the rightful place, and that generated some form of debate in the course of the conversation with some of the minority MPs raising questions with his position on that and the responses he gave and all of that. That particular vetting also lasted for about 3 hours, and eventually the appointment committee concluded the conversation on that. Tomorrow, we are expecting 2 more justices who will be nominated to the Supreme Court to appear before the committee. Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, professor, will be appearing, as well as lawyer Yoni Kolendi. Yoni Kolendi in the morning and Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu later in the day.
Well, that's a vetting to look out for. Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo there. Now, Director of Institutional Care Division of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba, says home care is currently not an option for the treatment of COVID-19 patients. There have been concerns raised by some health experts and NGOs on the rate of recoveries, which they find too low. But speaking on News Desk, Dr. Kaba indicated that the stringent measures put in place to clear patients could be responsible for the seemingly low rate of reported recoveries. He, however, revealed that data available to the Ghana Health Service indicate that patients on admission at the various treatment centers respond better to treatment as compared to those at home. Here's the review in treatment policy.
One thing I keep telling everyone, that it distracts everybody's attention, and it needs constant evaluation and constant change of the game. In a sense that sometimes you start with certain things, and then with the information you get on the ground, you change your plan. So when we actually started this, we were talking about home care, and we're talking about having people in the health facility. What we got to know was that depending on the people that we were dealing with, some were able to do home care and some were not able to do home care. So before we could say that, yes, we agree for you to do home care, we used to go with you to your house with a checklist. We look around, we all agree with you, and then we agree whether you do your home care or not. We assign a doctor to you and takes your parameters on daily basis. At least they speak with you twice. The game has changed. We are now talking about thousands and thousands of people. And we have also now seen that those who come to the hospital, they get to recover very fast as compared to those who do home care. That's what our figures have spoken to us.
Well, Dr. Kaba also says the Ghana Health Service is expected to announce a strategy to deal with the surge and fast spread of the virus in Tema, especially. He spoke to Ernest Meno on the Joy News Desk. But meanwhile, the coalition of NGOs in health have expressed concern about the rate of spread of COVID-19 in Ghana after President Akufo-Addo revealed last night that one person was responsible for spreading the virus to about 533 others in a fish factory at Tema, fish processing factory, I should say. Speaking on News Desk, President of the coalition, Gabriel Benaku, wants government to enforce the social distancing protocol through legislation.
It's not palatable at all. What it just simply tells us that we are beginning to slip. Our effort is being stagnated, and we need to be much more proactive than before. 1,000 out of the 4,700, then it means that we need to look back into our treatment. The other issue is that information is not forthcoming, then you need to double your investment and logistical support for the state strategy. Yeah, we have rated the Ghana response at 8/10. We are still by that. We have observed and we have collected data that shows how Ghana is responding to the social distancing and the use of the mask. We will publish that report that can really inform government about what they are doing. If Ghana government improve on the strategy and the logistical support, we could move from the 80 by our assessment to 85 or 90%, and that would be a great thing.
That's Gabriel Banaku there. He's president of the Coalition of NGOs in Health. So we'll go for business. When we return, Christian Council of Ghana denies claims it is pushing for the lifting of the ban on social gatherings because the church is suffering financially.
As to when to lift the ban, we leave it with the government. We are only coming in to support if it should be lifted. COVID will still be with us.
I think that God has been good to us so far. Been good. We are paying our bills, we are paying salaries, and so on.
And from the church, we get up close with Ghana's best female rapper, Eno Baroni, who is rubbing shoulders with her male counterpart with her wit and lyrical power.
Never went from interview to interview, bragging to the world that I'm the best, and that is how I became the king of praise.
Growing up, I never battled girls. Like, I was always battling boys. And even right now, I still rock the stages with men.
That's all coming up shortly, and it's time now for business with George Riafe. Can you rap?
No, I cannot battle with them. I
just cannot. Okay.
I cannot. I mean,
give us a line. Drop a line.
Even though I'm a serious enthusiast of Tupac Shakur.
Drop a line. Your own rap.
My own rap?
Yes.
We'll do that after the break.
Okay, what's in business?
Well, Emefa foreign currency deposit increased significantly to hit $4.3 billion and then February this year. And savings and loans companies pushed for stimulus package to help deal with the sector's withdrawal because of the coronavirus. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essential affairs. National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. And remember, it has been 25 years of joy and supporting those budding entrepreneurs out there.
When you want it, just Momo it. When you tire for the long queue in the supermarket, just Momo it. And when you really want that beautiful new blouse too, just Momo it. And when you won't get that thing, when you go get fresh to impress, and you know who, just Momo it. And when you need to pay that your utility bill and domestic staff set, just Momo it. And when you want send love to the family for back home, just Momo it. So many ways there. When you go use your MTN Momo wallet or make payments with scan to pay. When you go use the QR code, or you go use the merchant ID or on bank POS terminal. You go also transfer money between mobile money wallet and bank account, all on MTN Momo. Enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions and live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. We are good together. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501-683-914
or 0232-000-015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
DSTV Yonkupa and Nuntina yet time machino, and we thank you for choosing to stay at home and save with us. Yet time machi, Entina Yemamo discount when you top up your DSTV subscription. Annie, you crow with kids educational channels like Mindset, Da Vinci, and the Ghana Learning Channel, as well as lots of kids entertainment and up to the minute news update on all the happenings across the world and home. Plus our captivating local and international drama, thrilling series and movies, all in one place. To get your discount, just top up your same or preferred subscription using MTN Momo, Vodacash, Slide Pay, Express Pay, eTransact, or your banking app, or SMS *389*5# and *759#, and we will upgrade you to the next package at no extra cost. Yes, that's easy. Onyankupadie and Noani DSTV. DSTV, yet time machine.
The best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Boost Sensationary. We do. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Boost Sensationary.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Everyone needs a partner who will be there through the good times and tough times. We are that partner, and we appreciate your loyalty. At GoTV, we always have your back. That's why we're giving you a free upgrade on your next package. Simply stay connected and get upgraded to the next higher package at no cost. Upgrade at no cost. Stay safe and stay remotely connected with MTN Mobile, Express Pay, Transact, or your banking application, or *389*5# and *759#, and we will connect you with non-stop family mix entertainment on BET, Africa Magic Family, Rock 2 and 3, Telemundo, News, Trace Jama, and an array of kids learning and fun channels to wow you. Thank you for being our loyal partner. Stay entertained. GoTV's got your back.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the total amount of foreign currency deposits with banks in the country witnessed some significant increase over the past 1 year. Latest Bank of Ghana data suggests that it jumped by more than 17% to hit $4.3 billion. There is more in the following Business Desk report.
These are deposits with banks made up of the various foreign currencies like the British pound, euros, and other currencies. However, for the purpose of this analysis, we want to convert all these funds into dollars, which should be about 4.3 billion. According to the report, this represents about half of the total banking deposits of 83 billion cedis and in February this year. The report also shows to have been some consistent increase in foreign currencies being kept at the commercial banks over the past 4 years, based on data from the Bank of Ghana. These are deposits from individuals, groups, and institutions that have foreign currency accounts with all the banks in the country. It is still not clear what might have caused the increase. However, some industry watchers would want to link it to the cedi's depreciation as a result of people changing their cedi accounts to foreign currency accounts. For others, the development is worrying, especially when significant portions of the deposits are coming from persons that are changing from cedis into these foreign currencies. It is believed that some of these actions often contribute to the cedi's depreciation. Others have also maintained that the Bank of Ghana deploys some instruments to discourage the practice of holding foreign currency accounts for those that do not actively engage dollar transactions as a business.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, the Association of Savings and Loans Companies are making a strong case for the planned stimulus package for the sector to be fast-tracked to help minimize the expected shocks on the industry. Now, this because development has resulted in spike in withdrawals, a development that could impact negatively on credit extension to businesses in the country. Executive Secretary of the Association, Chinebo Akodiabuachi, tells Joy Business there must be a strong case made to help address the problem.
There is no economy that can survive if government doesn't come in.
So do I get from you that it has affected credit extension?
Some of the institutions are continuously giving credit, but the magnitude and the rate at which
declined. Have you turned to government or have you turned to the Bank of Ghana for some support to help address this problem?
Yes, we have.
And what is the state of that one?
Fortunately, the central bank engaging, they've been very supportive, wrote back to us that they've received our concerns and they are giving the necessary attention to it. And we are very confident the central bank will come back to us so soon. But fortunately, it is the government that will issue the money. And so we are expecting that.
I am particularly worried about your liquidity position and how soon should this stimulus package come in?
For some of the institutions, it should be as soon as yesterday.
And you get the signs that it will be done because it looks like we've not heard about anything government putting together something for you guys.
We can't speak for the government. We believe the government is thinking about how to position the sector. No government will throw billions of cedis into the banking space and leave it to collapse. And so we are very confident the government has all good intentions.
Chinebo Akodiabuachi is the Executive Secretary of the Association of Savings and Loans Companies in the country. Economics Professor Godfrey Bobkin has rejected concerns that the current issues surrounding publication of economic data and the IMF may raise some credibility issues for government. Now, this was after FactCheckGhana.com raised issues about data government published in the budget and the one that it also submitted to the International Monetary Fund. But there have been issues raised, but this issue has actually been rapid by the Finance Ministry and the IMF. Professor Balkin tells Joy Business there are other pressing issues with the economy that we should focus on.
I think that the IMF has come to clarify the matter, and I think it's as simple as that. In fact, even before the IMF's comment, my position has been that it is not an issue at all. There are more important challenges, very threatening issues ahead of us that I believe as a country should engage our attention. It seems to me we are majoring on the minor. Why am I saying so? If you have followed this government since 2017 and their dealings with the IMF, you will realize that the government has been very clear from day one that the energy sector payments, the financial sector bailout would not be included in the normal fiscal calibrations. That has been very obvious from day one. So it cannot be that the government supplied this data just because of the 1 billion IMF facility. Not at all. In fact, when you look at IMF reports from 2018 and then also the 7th and 8th combined review of the just ended IMF program, this data have been reported.
Economist Professor Godfrey Bobkin. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. And if you're a shareholder in EcoBank, the value of each share held is up by 5 pesos and it's now worth 7 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
And it's a good note to end, since you're talking about the IMF and those issues that have been raised by Fact Check Ghana, amongst others. It's interesting. We've heard from Professor Godfrey Bobkin. But let's hear in full that interview on New Star with Samson Ladi Ayenene.
First, let me commend you for reaching out. I think that's the right thing to do. We try as much as possible to stay out of these public debates. I think we felt compelled here to accept the call from the news file just to clarify a statement made by Fact Check Ghana,
right,
which seems to be a Twitter accredited account. They basically say, and I quote, the data presented by the government to the IMF are different from those in budget statement, end quote. And here I would just like to focus on two metrics, the fiscal deficit and the gross international reserve. In our report, we present, if I start with the fiscal deficit, we present two measures of the fiscal deficit, with and without financial sector cost and energy sector payments. It appears that the number that are making the rounds, and excuse me if I've not been able to follow, because as much as this has been an important debate, there are really more serious things taking place that are taking up our time, right? So let me just make that point clear. Right. So we present the deficit with and without financial sector payments and energy sector payments. So the comparison that I see making the round is comparing two different things on one side, and we are aware of these differences, right? They are not new. I think that we can agree to disagree on the way to capture it, but I think there is really no new information here. So that's the first statement. So it's important to compare similar things. At least for us at the fund, we are aware and we receive this data. So that's the first thing. When it comes to gross international reserve, there again, we have our definition, a definition that we think is the right one. But Bank of Ghana also has a different understanding of what gross international reserve should account for. And the difference here is that Bank of Ghana counts the oil funds, right, the Heritage Fund and the Stabilization Fund as part of gross international reserve. And I think that point was clearly made at the beginning of the year by the governor of the Central Bank of Ghana that that's the difference and that's the position that they are taking. So to me, that's the clarification that I wanted to make.
Great.
For the debate about whether or not the government is messaging the data, I believe that Honorable Forting is a spokesperson and can take that up. But when it comes to the data that we've received and what we've worked with, in this debate, there's really nothing new that we did not know about. Thank you.
Okay. So just a little bit of a clarity. As far as the fiscal deficit is concerned, what the Fact Check Ghana did was to show from the budget statement that in 2018 and 2019, the government reported to Ghanaians 3.0% 2018, 4.5% 2019, while the data from the IMF statement 2018, which was 3.0, turned 7.0, and then 2019, which was 4.5, turned 7.5. Your explanation is that you were not supplied statements by the government of Ghana that contained these figures. Is that what you're saying?
That's not correct. That's actually not what I'm saying.
All right.
What I'm saying is the 4.5 that you see, for example, in 2019,
right,
does not include financial sector payments and energy sector payments.
Right.
Our number includes these two elements, and we know well, and I think that's not new, we know why the government of Ghana made the decision not to have these two elements in the fiscal deficit. I think these are not new.
So the essence of my question to you is, this is what you generated, not statements submitted to you by the state government of Ghana.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is what we generated. This is our understanding of the fiscal deficit. That's correct.
Okay. And when it comes to the gross international reserves, your explanation is the same method.
It's the same method.
Right.
It's the same method.
Right.
We have. I mean, let me first, state that we work with a lot of countries, and we do have some, how can I say, statistical standard. We may well disagree. For example, if you take the gross international reserve, and I think that, a point that some people may agree to. I think the argument by Bank of Ghana is that if push comes to shove and they need additional buffers, they can actually, if you are in a situation of crisis, you can go to Parliament and request access to the oil funds. What we say is that perhaps it's more complicated than that, but we can agree to disagree and present the numbers that we think are more aligned to comparison with other countries, because that's our objective.
All right.
So you heard the country rep for the IMF speaking to Samson Ladi Anyenini on Newsfile last Saturday, and extensively settling the matter on this issue. But of course, there are still some concerns. We've heard, we've seen an article written by Isaac Adongo, for instance, but some have said that that's now shifting the goalpost to another issue. So you heard the country director, Albert Tuna Mama, there. There's more on myjoyonline.com. You can read more from that interview. Let's do sports now. Benedict Owusu
Emefa
is here in the studio. What a delight to see you.
Oh, good
I've
to
missed
see you
you
too. I miss you too.
Yeah, what's in sports?
You're looking lovely.
Thank you. Leave it there. What's in sports?
Well, Coach Siki Akoto is trending. He's the coach of the Black Stars, and he's revealed he would have to consult the Football Association about a potential call-up for Kevin Prince Boateng. Now, the German-born Ghanaian, in a recent chat with his brother Jerome Boateng, talked about a possible return to the Black Stars. Take a listen.
That's it. We with the national team and everything, it went in the wrong way. I didn't like this. I didn't like how it finished, because they gave me so much. But you never know. Maybe I can go back and play one more time again.
So that was Kevin Prince Boateng, and if you remember, he was punished for insulting former head coach Kwesi Appiah and has been asked to render a public apology before being considered for national team selection again. Coach CK has reacted to this in an exclusive chat with Joy Sports.
Why not? Why not? You see, he's played before. Yeah. He's done well. There were some issues. I think we can also deny that, But if he's doing well and actively playing and he's strong, very experienced player. But whatever it is, I really need to talk to the FA about it. But he'll be welcome once he's
because he was suspended indefinitely, and he's still not cleared that yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's some issues which I probably cannot discuss it with you. And then but if he's interested, the other day during the press conference, I had a chat with him. Yeah. And the story was different. And
later he came back
to say.
So that was Black Stars coach CK Akono speaking there. There'll be more on him tomorrow when you join us on the Joy Sports Center, as well as the AM Sports. Now, briefly before I go, the Premier League says it has listened to the objectives of some clubs to use the neutral grounds if the season resumes, and will support them in putting those views to the authorities. Now, Chief Executive Richard Masters said the organization was in an ongoing dialogue with government, public and ground safety officials.
Thank you very much, Benedict. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Now, let's go back to our very first story for Newsnight tonight. We've been talking about the Electoral Commission and its response to the minority leader's accusation. So portions of that statement responding to that press conference held by the minority leader, 7th May, the Commission has not stated anywhere that it has received personal and protective equipment, PPE, from government, as stated by the minority leader during that press conference. For the avoidance of doubt, the Commission has not received any protective equipment from the government. The Commission finds it troubling that the leader of the minority party in Parliament will put out information of this nature without substantiating its authenticity. Listen to the minority leader Haruna Idrisu's response to the Electoral Commission.
And that I, Haruna Idrisu, am misleading the public and not Dr. Sribua of the Electoral Commission, as was reported by the Daily Graphic and reported by Joy FM on Newsfile that I heard him that the Electoral Commission have received sufficient PPEs, personal protection equipment, from government. In any case, I was discussing PPEs relative to the National Identification Authority and the Electoral Commission in the context that don't just think about health, safety and lives of citizens for the purpose of getting registered. What I do know about the Electoral Commission is that they've come to Parliament with two defective instruments.
So, point for which reason we're playing back that interview with Haruna Idris. My colleague Joseph Opoku-Gakpo spoke to him a while ago, responding to the Electoral Commission statement. He made mention of an interview that Dr. Sribo Kweku granted on Newsfile. That's on the 18th of April this year, just last month. We have managed to pull up that interview on what Dr. Sribo Kweku said regarding PPE.
Our main focus is that if the pandemic gives us opportunity, because as I said, we have been talking to the health experts and the other stakeholders. If in 2 months and it goes down, that we will do that it's okay or it's safe for us, we can go ahead. In view of that, we are procuring a lot of PPEs and the rest. So that if it subsides and we all agree that it has subsided, we are buying a lot of PPEs for our staff. We will do the sanitation. No, if you, I think 4 days ago, South Korea had an election, and if you monitored it, they use a lot of spacing or whatever. The Electoral Commission is not taking decisions in isolation. We are in consultation with health experts and the rest.
So that's the Director of Electoral Services for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribo Kweku. And that's him speaking on our very own Newsfile on the 18th of April. So you heard him say that they are procuring PPEs, and at some point also said that they are going to buy PPEs. So nowhere in that interview did we hear him say that government has provided PPEs for them as put out by the minority leader. You also heard him a while ago speaking to my colleague Joseph Opoku-Gakpo on that matter. So we've in a way settled the matter on this, and we'll play more of that interview from Dr. Sribo Kweku on Newsfile subsequently here. And then also, I'm sure you can find it also on myjoyonline.com. Now let's head to the church, because the Christian Council has denied claims it is pushing for a lifting of the ban on social gatherings. You may have seen a statement making rounds on social media in which the Council announces measures they will enforce to reduce the spread of the virus should churches reopen. Speaking on Beyond the Lockdown, the chairman of the Council and presiding Bishop of the Methodist Church, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Boafo, said the statement is not a case being made for the ban to be lifted. He argues the church is being proactive. He was on the show with Apostle General of the Royal House Chapel, Reverend Sam Kranchi Ankara, and Secretary General of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Reverend Father Lazarus Anonde.
What we are saying is that church will not be the same after COVID. And so what preparations do we put in place? What guidelines do we put in place if it should be lifted? In fact, when the leaders met, I want to repeat this. We said, as to when to lift the ban, we leave it with the government. We are only coming in to support if it should be lifted. COVID will still be with us. And what do we do as people come to church? What do we do to even allay the fears of our people to come to church in their numbers? Because people will still have that fear. Do I have to go or not to go? And so if all these measures, if you are to go through the document, if all these measures and others to be added are put in place in all our church places and the chapels, the church halls, people now would be very much assured that when I go in there, I am not going to contract the disease for now.
Okay.
But we are also saying that we are ready to contain the measures should the ban be lifted. We are ready. We are ready to control the numbers. We are ready to follow the etiquette and the protocols. We are ready for spacing. We are ready to do even multiple services in smaller numbers.
The Apostle General, Sam Kranchi Ankara, and of course the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church. We've also been speaking about the church not being financially strapped.
No, on the contrary, I think that God has been good to us so far. God has been good. We are paying our bills, we are paying salaries, and so on. But the fact that I am okay does not mean I should be quiet, because I see my other brothers struggling. There's a church, that is just right close to me. And today I was just telling my wife, I said, can we go and look for the pastor and give him some rice, some oil, some food, and so on? It's very sad and it's very, very pathetic. So on the contrary, those who think that we want people to come to church because of the offerings and so on, no. But as we have said, as Reverend Father said, as my colleague has said, we miss the spiritual fellowship.
And that's the case they're making, being proactive according to the church. And that's it for News Night. We get into That's My Opinion with Nana and Sakwao. But Ruth, Eno Ajua Amankwa Nyamia Dum, Eno Baroni, ushers us into that.
From my fan, I'm in next time. Won't hope in a bed in the bag. What's the rap? Yeah, they mama, my cap on the net. Yeah, I'm Ghana. But most